Hey everyone. Yeah, welcome to my review, hopefully my review, if this camera don't act up on me. This camera seems to be stopping every time I do a video, almost halfway through or not even through it. So, I don't know what's going on. Battery's okay, so I don't know. But anyway, welcome to my video review of issue 276 of Sonic the Hedgehog, the first post Sonic the Hedgehog issue since Worlds Unite. And it's also the first official issue, if you want to look at it in a sense, to start the two-story format. Now, a little bit of trivia. This isn't the first time the book's gone into has done a two-story format. The book has done this several times. Now, a majority of the times, the second story would usually be just as long, if not shorter. And this has gone on throughout the history of the book. Some of the second stories would always be looked at as backup stories. They wouldn't be looked at as anything else. And sometimes they wouldn't even be in context with what was going on in the story. They'd mainly be one-shot deals. But they were never at a point where both stories were the same length of pages. Basically, they're the same length of pages, and they ended up having to do with the same continuity. Hold on for a sec. Like I said, none of them dealt with the same continuity of story arc. They'd mainly be their own thing. Sometimes the backup stories in the past would lead into mini-series for other characters. Sally had her backup stories that led into a Princess Sally mini-series comic book. Same with Tails. Even Knuckles, before he got his own series, had backup stories. And they had nothing to do with what was going on in the continuity at the time. True, they'd be referenced later on, but that would be about it. This is the first time actually that I know of where both stories deal with the same continuity. Both take place within the same story arc. And both are going to have an effect on each other. Hold on for a sec. Like I said, both are going to have an effect on each other. And I apologize for the burp. Like I said, both are going to have an effect on each other. So that's sort of a new concept to the format. Now, some people are a little unsure about it. Some feel that one story is going to be more compressed, more rushed, and not have time to develop than the other. But I think we just need to give it time. Sooner or later, we're going to see whether or not this format will work, or will they go back to the full issue story arc. We'll just have to wait and see. But the story actually works pretty well. The first story, for as short as it was, I know some people like Mega Beat Man and Tora Chan, or TA over at DeviantArt, and several others, feel it didn't give much development for the characters. And that there wasn't much to work with. It didn't give much development on the relationship between Rotor and his dad. And I could kind of agree with that. I kind of agree with that, because it would have been nice to see more development. Now, to me though, this sort of sets the stage for other things to come. It sets the stage for the fact that we could find out that more of the freedom fighters, including their allies, could end up having relatives, family, working for Eggman. It could happen. And I think the potential is there. Just like when I talked about Nicole becoming Overclock Nicole, set the stage for a lot of the non-gaming characters possibly going super. And it did. This, to me, this just this one fact of Tundra being Rotor's dad is definitely setting up that possibility. Now, basically the first story kind of plays out well to set up what it did. Basically you have Rotor, Chip, and Sonic in search of two individuals. I think their names are, let me see if I get it right. Juritun and Sorani. Basically the characters from Sonic Unleashed. So basically they went to the Arctic, as it's called. The Arctic, as they call it, Arctic, I think. Cool Edge Zone Arctica, to go search for these people and rescue them. Unbeknownst to the Egg Army that they fight and get captured by, Sonic and Rotor's plan is to get captured so that they can rescue these two individuals. Why? Because this husband and wife duo, Juri and Sarana, have the sun, I think the Sun and Moon Gaia Temple keys. I think that's what they have. They have the sun, I think they have, let me see here, just want to make sure. Yeah, the Sun and Moon Gaia keys, which will help Sonic and his team in the Gaia temples, unlock the Gaia temples. So that is the main reason they are there. That is the whole plan. Now, as much as some people may not say, or may say there's not much character development for Rotor and his dad and the relationship that's going on there, for as short as it was, there is a bit of development. Because we kind of see that Tundra is a bit of a hypocrite. Tundra believes in might makes right. He's kind of old school, if you will. So that's why he said Eggman chose him. Because even though he may, let's face it, Tundra may have not liked Eggman taking over, but Tundra had to, in his perception, had to respect the fact that Eggman was using might over weakness. He was using might over right. He was using might over technology. He was using might over this and that. Basically, like I said, hypocritical of Tundra because he has cybernetic Tusk now. Tundra basically is kind of old school, which is why he may have not liked Eggman taking over, but respected the fact that Eggman was using his force, his brute force, to take over the land, and thus why Eggman chose Tundra to be his egg boss. So it basically shows character development that Tundra is kind of a hypocritical, old school kind of guy. That basically if someone like Tundra had his way with the freedom fighters and all that, and let's say a guy like Tundra was to lead the freedom fighters, not saying he would, or someone like him was to lead the Egg Army, instead of using sorcery, magic, or technology, he would use brute force. He would use might. And even if someone would say, we got to do it this way, he'd be the kind of guy like saying, no, strong. That is basically Tundra in a nutshell, if you catch my drift. So, with that said, the first story though was okay. Again, in the eyes of some, it may have not set up much as far as character development, but I think it did a decent job and set the stage and tone for what we could see in future story arcs, in future issues. Now, as far as the second story goes, a lot of people say the second story worked out better because it did develop the characters, it did develop the plot. It even referenced back to Worlds Unite and the ending there. And I do agree it did kind of continue things. But like I said in my Archie Sonic's Road to 300 video, this, what we see here in the story arc could end up backfiring on Eggman. See, Eggman is created this Eggman land, which is mainly a refinery in the disguise of a theme park that's going to funnel all the Dark Gaia energy into the Death Egg, making it virtually unstoppable. Now, what I like about this, and I think a lot of fans have mentioned this as well, is you have someone in Orbot that actually is able to match sass, if you will, match wit in a sense, with Eggman. Kind of contradict him on certain things. Now, Orbot does explain in the story that he was built to be like that, or that basically, he basically points out to Eggman that Eggman works better in a competitive environment. Thus, the reason for his sass. Now, we do get indications that several things got rewritten, got changed, if you will. Now, originally, Eggman had the blue Chaos Emerald. We all know that. But what happened was, thanks to the events of Worlds Unite kind of altering things in certain areas and changing things, the rocket that had the emerald, instead of going straight to the Death Egg, was veered off course and landed who knows where. So basically, Worlds Unite kind of altered that, as well as they altered the fact that something that Eggman had used to conquer Lost Hex had gone missing. And basically, Eggman, in a sense, did swear off space-time travel, messing with space and time and everything, until he finds out that Orbot and his crew have located Metal Sonic, who we last saw being trapped in the Dark Abyss Zone by Silver and Sonic. Now, some of you might say, well, Metal Sonic showed up in Worlds Unite. You got to remember, Worlds Unite never, even though it officially happened, storyline-wise, never really did happen. Because even Eggman acknowledges that because of that missing item, he would need to conquer Lost Hex. Even he admits and acknowledges that the event is a whatever, whenever kind of situation, because he can't remember all the details. So anyway, after Eggman hears about the fact that Metal Sonic has been located in the Dark Abyss Zone, he uses his Genesis Portal Maker. Yes, he has one, thus the reasoning why Eggman or Sonic Boom has one. You got to have equalness somehow. He ends up going to the Dark Abyss Zone to try to find Metal Sonic. And he acknowledges that the reason Metal Sonic can't really respond much is maybe he was used up too much of his energy trying to find a way out. Eggman also ends up encountering some kind of sluggish space snake of the Dark Abyss Zone, fights it with his big arms, kind of a reference to the big arms bot from the earlier Sonic games, but ends up having his arm, this side of the big arm, broken off by the snake, but is able to get in close enough range to get in contact with Metal Sonic that Metal Sonic sees what's going on, decides, okay, he's got 1%, he's going to basically focus all that 1% into his burst shield, or whatever it is, this burst energy shield, to punch a hole through this this snake, this kind of like slimy, gooey abyss, dark abyss zone snake, or whatever it is, this space snake. But unfortunately, as he does that, he ends up going offline. Eggman ends up grabbing him and escaping back into the Genesis portal and back into the egg base, and having the portal shut down before the snake can come through itself. So basically, Eggman is happy that he has some kind of a semi-victory, kind of, as he puts it, exhilarates him to the point that he wants to conquer a nation violently. Now, as he is having Orbot and Q-Pot take Metal Sonic back to a charging station, unbeknownst to him, there's an alert going off saying that Eggman Land is being invaded. And who are they being invaded by? None other than Axis Naugus, now known as Walter Naugus, and Wendy Witchcart, or as she's known as here in the comic, Wendy Naugus. Basically now siblings. Which, of course, is a prelude which of course this last scene, this last panel, is a prelude to the Eggman arc that will begin 2016. I think it's around that time frame anyway. So overall, I thought the first official issue of the two 10-page story arc, or the two 10-page story format, I thought it was okay. I mean, I know some people kind of feel it was a little rushed in certain areas, like with the first story, and that the second story was more balanced, but you got to give it time, like I said. And I think over time, either, you got to give it time. And either they're going to stick with it, or they're going to go back to the full issue story arc run. We'll have to wait and see. But I say give it time, see what happens, and go from there. Now, what's funny is at the end of this issue, we always get at the end of every issue, we always get a preview of what the cover for the next issue is going to look like. Well, we all know at San Diego Comic-Con, we got an idea of what Nagas is going to look like. Well, also we got a good look at what Loop, that's right, Loop of the Wolfpack is going to look like. That's right, we got a good look at what Loop of the Wolfpack is going to look like. And she does look very similar to what she was before, except she's Segified, and guess what? We're going to see Loop a lot sooner than we can expect because, I don't know if you can see this, Loop returns next issue. That's right, Lupe will return next issue in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, and obviously it looks like she's going to be teaming with Sonic and Sally in search for the Gaia Key, for other Gaia keys to the Gaia temples. And they also have a battle variant by Tyson Heath, which will be available at local comic shop retailers. And it has Sonic and Loop and Chip on the cover. So, yeah, next issue, 277, Loop is coming back. So, overall, like I said, 276 I thought was a decent start to the two 10-page story format. Basically, a good start to the two 10-page story format. I thought it was alright. Again, you got to give it time, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens, and that's all I have to really say about it. So let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you all for watching, and I am out.